welcome everybody to the Stoke Your Creative Fire Summit. Turn your angst into art. I am so excited today. I have the amazing Lainie Love Dalby. Let's take a moment. Fangirling. Woo! Feel the fan, baby. Feel the fan. Fan, fan, fan. Oh my God. I feel so honored that I know almost every person who agreed to be on this summit. And this is another amazing human. Okay, so before she talks, I'm going to read you a little bit of her bio. Well, first, let me tell you a little about how I met Lainie Love in incredible settings. We have danced together. We have done hardcore shadow work together. We have actually sat at a table where she taught me how to make collages. And I've made collages before, but I've never made collages like these collages. We will talk in a moment. So I'm going to read you a little bit of her bio. Do you feel good right now? I hope you're starting to feel good. I know reading someone's bio is so yummy. Lainie Love Dalby is a transformational catalyst on a mission to free the human spirit that have been told they are too much or not enough. Hello. Oh my God, Lainie. And in her program, she teaches them to sparkle shamelessly and has an amazing book you can get online. Okay. So she does so many incredible things. She helps people step into their power authentically and their sovereignty. She loves that word. She's a trailblazer of women's spirituality, empowerment, master teacher, facilitator. She has so many mad skills, like literally, it's unbelievable. Transformational speaker, global vortex retreat leader. She's a best-selling author. She wrote a crazy, amazing book. Her story is unbelievable. We'll talk about that later. She's an oracular astrologer, hence oracle deck, the most gorgeous sacred, this is flipped, Sacred Revolution Oracle, which I will show you more later. With her incredible creativity, made every single card. This is just like, we're not even there yet. We're just going to give you some tantalizing tidbits. Okay, as a spiritual thought leader of her own flavor of multimedia ministry, I love this. And she was a fashion designer before and many other things. I used to follow her before I even knew her. She helps awaken our full creative, spiritual, and sexual power so we can step into the revolution potential and become wildly, unapologetically alive. She is also deeply passionate about ending the rampant disregard for life, and this is so key to her mission. She really, especially overt and covert violence perpetuated against the sacred feminine and our own bodies, by restoring the sacred reconnection around the globe. I really love you, Lainie, and I know who you are. I've met you on all levels. I've seen you. We processed together. We've been leading in the same space. I mean, we've had very amazing, deep connection. And she even came over to the house and met my kids. Her superpower is leading live and virtual sacred circles as a new paradigm to facilitate deep healing, sacred play, soul growth, and alchemical transformation. We share a lot of the same missions and words. So she's going to give us a free gift you're going to be able to get on her list, Lainie Love Dalby and the Ecstatic Embodied Leadership Academy. I'm super excited to interview you, baby. Hello. How do you feel?
Well, so excited to be here. Love you so much. And yes, yes, yes to all that you've shared. It has been a deep honor and privilege to walk with you on the revolutionary path and to have done so much deep work, processing, creativity, juicy movement, all the things together.
I know it's so exciting. And I love watching you grow and your whole, business and everything that you've exploded into in the last, this was a huge endeavor. I'm sure this took, an incredible, I want to hold it up right, an incredible amount of creative effort. These are all collages. She doesn't even know how into this I am, but I picked some cards while I was waiting for her. And she just told me that she picked one of the same cards. So before we even start, I want to show everybody this card. Look how beautiful. Every image in here. She's an artist of collage, and it's so much deeper than that. I want you to share that process, but this one was called Rewild Your Primal Nature. So we'll talk a little bit. So tell me, Lainie, if I was going to ask you the first question I ask everybody on the summit, how have you used creativity to heal you? That's my first question for everybody.
Creativity to heal me.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a very long journey to get to where I am today. Daring to live into the fullness of my being was really my greatest wound. And my healing journey has essentially been a deep reclamation of myself and my soul and my true essence. And that's why I now help others to do the same. And so, I grew up as an obese creative outcast. I had horrible self-esteem issues. I had my spirit squashed relentlessly through violence and bullying from the world around me, the dieting industry, and even my own family. And, people couldn't handle my big, wild energy, my free creative spirit, and that blinding bright light, that shameless sparkle. So they tried to dampen it. And I ended up feeling really invisible, unloved, totally disconnected from my value. I felt like I didn't belong here on this earth much of my journey. I felt like, what is this earth suit? I don't want to be here. I don't feel like I belong here. And, so it's been this deep return home to myself, to my body, to the earth, which is what the core of the Sacred Revolution Oracle is about. And unfortunately, I eventually internalized that violence from the outside world, and I turned it against myself. And I gained and lost over 1,300 pounds through yo-yo dieting and disordered eating and self-hatred. And I simultaneously really shut down that free spirit, and I went into autopilot, and I was deeply disconnected from what matters most. And my soul was really starving for that meaning, purpose, and wholeness. And so, it's like, as the patriarchal systems desired, I had learned to distrust my own body and my inner soul voice and my essence. I thought it was wrong, that it was bad, that it wasn't valuable. It's like, this is what, that it wasn't enough, that I was too much, and being reinforced with these messages. And I hadn't been taught about the miraculous power of our body, her capacity to create, to give birth to new life. I hadn't been told that we're radical creators with every breath, able to really focus our life force and intentions into womb manifesting all we desire. And, it's like, no one had shared the ancient wisdom of the moon mysteries, or the magic of blood rites, or my Celtic shamanic ancestral lineage. And so I was in this place where I was deeply disconnected from soul, self, and essence. And then illness came into my life and forced me to transform. It forced me to come into my embodiment, which is why I ended up founding the Ecstatic Embodied Leadership Academy. And it forced me to go on a journey that was really all about that reclamation through many different creative modalities. And so, through deep shamanic work, which the shamanist's greatest tool is imagination, and it's one of our core creative tools. So shamanism and my Celtic shamanic roots and reclaiming those, and, shamanic journeys and shamanic healing work, then going into the realm of shadow work, which we've journeyed in together, and becoming an advanced shadow work facilitator. That is, essentially it's psychodrama that's being acted out in a group setting. So it's almost like being in ritual theater. So then there was the ritual theater that came in, and then I became Okoye movement instructor. And so really working with these different, and I love JourneyDance and dance of liberation, and, these different modalities of movement to come back into my body. And then also with my art, I was in the art world previously and very disconnected from my soul essence there. I was making this art that it was for the marketplace. It was not for my soul. It wasn't for my essence. And so I started this practice creating shamanic healing art that helped to really transform and remember my own capacities. And that's what created the Sacred Revolution Oracle. There are these, some of them have up to 50 layers of mixed media painted collages with intentions and prayers and crystals, and I anoint the canvas and I go into this whole process. So then that brought in the expressive arts, and then I was deeply interested and invested as well in depth inquiry and continuing to ask deeper questions with writing. And so, all of these different creative modalities ended up coming in. And so that is now what I weave together to really support others as well in what I do. And so it has been this deep sacred reconnection to self, to my body, to my essence. And, all of the tools that I learned on the journey in my toolkit, they were the most profound pieces of my healing. Like I wouldn't have been able to heal without all the soul retrievals that I've done, which is why I apprenticed with a medicine elder for 6 years to be able to offer those to other people. I would still be in an unhappy marriage situation if it weren't for the shadow work. Like there are so many pieces that have just truly transformed my essence. And you know, and all of those modalities are part of the toolkit that I then utilize to create these alchemical containers of transformation today. And with the Oracle deck, that process, creating this, was a rebirth, and it truly did transform me. Like this is the first child I've ever had, and it was
Yes.
a true birth experience. And as all babies, they are teachers. And so this baby taught me probably
Yes.
more than anything and helped to
I want
heal
to
me.
I want to ask you more about that. I want to just go back for a second because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're such a sparkler. I want to just point out some of the amazing things that you said, because the viewers who are watching today, I want the viewers to just acknowledge if inside of you have those feelings sometimes of being, less than, too much, like too much sparkle to the point where you internalize. I love so many things you said. That's why I want to just unpack it a little bit. So Lainie is such an alchemist. I mean, literally, as you can hear, I mean, all the different pieces weaving together into something. And we all are doing that for our healing, right? So if I feel like I'm too much, I'm going to dampen in order to, fit into society. If I feel that I'm, too sparkly or too bright, or take up too much space, I'm going to do different things. If I feel that I don't fit in, I might cover my body with layers of, gain weight to shield myself. I might lose weight and become very small. Like we have so many, everything you talked about is so, I mean, we want to unpack this for a second. So if you're watching this and you can relate to all this, I want you to see this inspirational being who has used so many different creative modalities to actually heal herself and come to this place where she can now hold space for others. And I just want to encourage everybody who's watching to remember that I used to feel like I was too much. Absolutely relate to you in that way. I don't feel like my family, intentionally shut me down, but I was one of those kids who basically I was the perfect child in the family because everyone else was having so much drama. So I had to like become the perfect one, always smiling and everything's good, everything's great. No one knew anything about what was going on inside me internally, right? And I know, we have different stories, but I just want to impress upon everyone to remember that there is hope for healing. You do not have to stay stuck and small and feel like you're too much or you're too expressive, because there's places to express yourself. And let's continue. So I remember when Lainie wrote to me, will you be part of the deck? And I was like, yes, I'll be part of the deck. I will help you. I want to put this out into the world. And when I got this in the mail, I literally almost cried because it's so beautiful. I want to actually show it to you. And I knew it's look at this. It's like, it's a magical, and even the backs of the cards are incredible designs. I mean, she is a designer, artist, mover, feminist to the highest degree. I mean, these pieces, what I love about you, Lainie, is when I sat with you to make collage with you, you said to me, I said, can we do some process work? Like, I love what you do. Can you show me? And we sat down, you opened this box full of images, and it was like, I have my collage at home. It's not here right now. I want to show it. It was a healing of my heart process that I went through sitting there with you at the kitchen table. We weren't in sacred ceremony. We were just making collages together, but it was the way you hold the space of collage. And it was just it wasn't like making vision boards. I've made tons of vision boards. It was psychologically deep. And you said, pick any image that strikes you. Don't, even if it's the saddest, when you're making a vision board, you don't want anything sad on your vision board, right? But I had like a heart, and I had all these images and people with their backs to me. And like, it was so epic, and it was part of my healing. So that was a moment we just had at the kitchen table. So I just want to say to everybody, like, listen and allow yourself just to open up as she talks a little bit more about this deck, because it's a collage deck, but it's a collage of her whole essence and her channeling. Will you tell us about how you created that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of the shamanic healing art, and thank you for that, I very vividly remember that experience as you're painting the picture. And I also created, I think, 6 collages that were instrumental for my healing in that shadow
during that week. Oh my
yeah,
God.
it was
Yes.
really very powerful. And so I really believe in the power of art making, and especially mixed media, visual art, and collage as a form of prayer and deep healing and communion with the divine. And that's why I often will refer to my art as heart, with the art in parentheses, and I'm really weaving, expressiveness into everything that I do in that sense, but it's really accessing an endless well of colorful textured language from the mysterious realm of soul. right? And so each sacred offering is a clue to the truth of who we are, that is leading us closer to ourselves and why we're here at this time. And it's an opportunity for us to take an individual journey into our inner landscapes and bringing forth our deepest expressions of wholeness and the embodied, felt sense of truth that is deep in our bones. And so it's a way of welcoming all parts of our home, surrendering to the mystery, and really safely entering into the darkness of the shadow. And it's a way of merging spirit and earth through creation. And so in that, you know, one of the main things in all the ways that I lead and work with expressive arts is there is no way you can do it wrong. It does not matter what it looks like. It is all about how it feels. Similar principles that we work with in Okoye movement. And it is about the energetic transmission that comes through. We have been so conditioned to focus on the product, to do that, you know, and process, and the actual intuitive journey gets left behind, the feminine gets left behind. And so this is a process of also reclaiming that feminine way of working and being and interacting to be able to support the journey. And so that's why each of these pieces, and I call them shamanic healing art, because each of them heals me, it changes me, it transforms me as I create it, and then also as I share it. And so this deck is actually the first of its kind in that, because it's multimedia and multidimensional. And so the deck itself is a deep and holy rewilding root healing journey. No wonder we pulled that card, right? And it is really an individual and collective soul retrieval, calling all parts of ourselves back home, because the process of rebirth that I went through to create this deck is now inscribed in the energy of it, and it can support you in your own transformation. And this is the first oracle deck of its kind because it comes with an interactive portal in our Ecstatic Embodied Leadership Academy. So each of the cards has an embodiment practice. It's a choose your own adventure that can help you anchor in the medicine in the cards. So there's rituals, there's ceremonies, there's ecstatic embodied movement, shamanic journeys, visualizations, and MP3s, and they're all guided for you to deepen with this medicine. And so because it's a choose your own adventure, you can just pull a card a day, look at the keywords, keep it light, let it be, you know, just a very simple indication of the energy for the day. Or you could go super deep with one card and literally spend over an hour and come out on the other side in a new place in yourself, in a healing. And it's the cost of a regular oracle deck for all of that. And so, you know,
it's amazing. I just want to say, I mean, reading it is like reading, it's like reading a book, affirmations, ritual. It's like, it's the whole package. It's just a lovely, incredible, like compact powerhouse.
Yeah, it's
like
its
you.
Own, yeah, it's its own alchemical container of transformation, you know, and she really likes for you to develop a relationship with her. You know, she is her own, like, she's a Scorpio, just like me. She was born on October 30th. She is, you know, she really likes to support you in your transformational journey, to have a relationship with you, to come into a sacred engagement. And, you know, that's one of the things I love about art making, because it's a portal and a vehicle for the secret language of the soul. That really
I also picked sacred. Isn't that funny? You said
the
sacred
sacred
like 10
Yoni
times.
medicine card.
I picked this beautiful,
I love that
incredible card, the sacred Yoni medicine. I love it. I'm going to read that one later as well. But these keywords are so beautiful.
Yeah, it lures us back to wholeness and who we truly are. And that's really what all my work is about, is helping us to come home to ourselves, to our essence, to our truth. And that's what this deck will help you do. It helps. That's why I love divination and oracle, because it supports you in returning to your own wisdom. It points you back within to what you already know and what is already within you that is just awakening. It's all the capacities that are coming online now. And so it just helps us to come back into more of us, and more of you is always better.
I love that. More of you is always better. That's a great phrase to remember. I know everybody has so many issues around being too much or not being seen. And I think one of the things that you do so well, from what I know of your work, is you hold this incredible container and you allow everything to exist in it. Like we don't talk about that here. Everything is acceptable and taken and sacred and holy. And the way you hold the shadow and the light. I remember that amazing sword that you made. I mean, Lainie has so much creativity. And what I want to say is, what I want to inspire, I mean, she's inspiring us all in a million ways, but what I want to inspire everyone to do is, even if you don't know what your creative modality is, try everything. I mean, she has a sword. I don't even know. Can you talk about the sword? I know you don't have it like in front of us, but you painted it or you collaged it or like, it was amazing. Can you
Yeah,
just tell?
that's my 62-inch Celtic priestess sword. So that's an ancestral piece that I have, and it has a leather sheath on it that, yeah, I did a shamanic healing art collage on it, and I embed crystals into everything I do. I work a lot with crystal medicine as well, and so yeah, it's covered in crystals and serpents and roses, some of my main symbols. And it was one of those things where I received a message from spirit, it's time to get your sword, and I was like, okay. But I also love making power staffs and sacred talismans. I mean, in our containers and in our learning and practice community, in our Soul Sparkle Sanctuary, we create all kinds of expressive arts on a regular basis to help anchor in the healing work that we're doing, the shamanic work, the journeys, the medicine. And
I just love how you embrace the shadow in that way. Cause I remember that sword was like, it was literally like black and white, and it was so beautiful and full of skulls and death and beauty and rebirth. And it was just everything in one thing. And I think one of the things that you do creatively is because I know you have had a very intense life, right? You've woven your shadow pieces and your light pieces because you're so shiny. And we know what that means. And I know for me as a soul, to be able to hold the spaces that I hold, I have to be able to go super deep into my own shadow. And it has not been easy. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit about the messiness of creativity as well. Cause I know for me, like, I come to the dance floor and I bring, all my parts. Yep. And whether I'm in a good space or a bad space, I'm going to dance with those parts. And today I just been writing today about, loving myself, even when I'm on the floor in a heap of tears, or if I'm in a rage, just loving all of my emotions. I know you talk a lot about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in terms of sparkling shamelessly, we can't sparkle shamelessly if we're not in full ownership of all parts of ourselves, including what is in the darkness. And often what is in the darkness is key to our power. And we must unlock and we must find those pieces. And same with soul retrieval. So often pieces of us have fragmented off that are essential for us to be in our power. And so in a lot of ways, like all the shadow work that I do, the soul retrieval, all of those pieces are about reclaiming parts of soul that have been lost. And we're not able to be in our full integrated wholeness without that. And without that, of course, we can't sparkle shamelessly either. And so, when we're not fully in our bodies as part of that, because often there is trauma, there is wounding, there's things that happen that cause this fragmentation, that cause things to go in the shadow, and also that cause us to dissociate. And so I really believe that our bodies are a portal to our power. And so we must come back not only into bodies, but to bring back online and literally remember, to bring all the members and parts back together into self, because that is how we are in our full power and sovereignty. That is how we sparkle shamelessly. And so it's being unafraid to look at the fullness of life and to dive deep. And because I have so many placements in Scorpio, like it is very natural for me to dive deep in that way, in the deep, still waters, but to help others go there as well, because it's in my house of destiny. Like I am, I am somebody who supports deep transformation. And for those who do astrology, my Jupiter is also in Leo in the 8th house, which is the house of transformation. And Leo is the sign that sparkles shamelessly, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion. So it's like I am meant to expansively sparkle shamelessly and help others transform in that way too. That's how beautiful the cosmic code of astrology can be, how it translates. And it's in a relationship with my Scorpio energies. And so, it's just, they're all together sort of dancing. And when we have a guide to take us into the depths of our truth, of our essence, of ourselves, of our wounds, we are truly able to come into full reclamation. And that is really a essence. That's what that sacred reconnection is. It is a reclamation of self, of core truth, of essence. And that's why I believe we are here, because when we do that, we can really bring forward our full gifts and medicine, our unique soul sparkle to the ecosystem. And I believe that that is needed. And I believe we're all artists and culture creators that are participating in that. And we have a responsibility to make our lives a masterpiece for the good of all. And that we truly do all matter, and that we're here to do something that matters. And that's talk so much about living into our peak human potential. That's our revolutionary potential. It is our masterpiece. It's embodying our full artistry. And we do that by diving deep. We do that by pulling all parts of ourselves back online, even the parts that, you know, there's the piece of getting past the fear of, oh, I might lose belonging. Oh, I might lose love if I step into this next part of owning my truth, and knowing that what is meant for you will always be with you, and what isn't meant for you will shed away on the process. The serpent is such an important piece, because it's not only falling in what's lost, there is also so much bullshit that needs to be shed. Patriarchal chains, old paradigms, old stories, the, you know, you're too much, you're not enough, all of these pieces that are literally clogging up our bodies, clogging our organs, clogging our cells energetically and otherwise. And so there is a lot of release work that we also have to do to prepare and make space for those parts of self, of our truth that we're bringing back in, you know. So it's like shedding what is false, all the false things, like the serpent sheds its skin, and then making space for welcoming all those true essential parts of self, essential parts of our being back, so that we can be in that full expression. And
I love that.
Shamelessly, because we are stardust. We are meant to shine. We are literally walking stardust. That is what we are made of.
You know, I remember when I first saw a snake shed its skin, it was a very intense process. I had no idea. I thought, you know, I've always seen snake skins, right? But I never saw the snake. I was in a situation where the snake was confined, and it was very upsetting. But I watched it because I was sitting there watching this thing bang against the wall and rub against the rocks. And this man who was working at this place where the snakes were, I said, what is that snake doing? He said, oh, that's preparing to shed its skin. I said, oh, so he said, so what happens is he feels the snake, that's the snake, it feels this like intense pressure, but it doesn't just like, it can't just push the skin off. It can't just go, I'm done, and it crawls out of its skin. No, it has to actually rub against the rocks, rub its belly against the ground. It has to work it off. So it is, what I love about your process is that it's like, I love that it's creative, because it's so different from just like going in and doing journaling or sitting in a therapist's office. And not that I have anything against therapists. I love therapists. I have many therapists, but it's about taking it to this visceral, physical, artistic level, this creation of something that represents this ritual. Like one thing that you do really well that I've seen you do, and I've felt you do it, is you can drop into a space, a channeling space, a sacred space. I'm trying to describe it in a word. It's really hard to describe. It's a mystical space. We go into a mystical space like we do, you know, on the dance floor, or when we're writing or creating character in JourneyDance, but we go into this mystical space, right? This mystery space where the creativity, it changes the way we think. We're not in our regular you know, thought patterning. We're like, oh, I'm looking at visual, I'm looking at color, I have music, all these things that are elements that take us out of the norm into ritual space. And that is what is so powerful about the creative process. I don't know if you want to share a bit about how you do that for yourself. Like when you're going to create something, I know you said you create a whole sacred space to create in, but it's like, we don't take, the average person, those of us who are watching, maybe we don't take time for creativity. We don't think creativity is essential to our being. You know, we have a lot to do. We got kids, we have this, we have that, we have to take care of ourselves. Oh my God, so many things to do in one day. But what if this creative practice, any of the ones that you've seen on this summit, have been incorporated into your life, right? How would you think that would change people?
Oh, I totally want to respond to that. And there's one thing I wanted to say about what you said on the serpent, because one of the cards I pulled for us today was activate your volcanic passion. And you can see the serpent at the bottom. And the one thing that's really magical about the serpents is that when they shed their skins, they go blind. They don't know. They're in the unknown. They're in the mystery. And so often when we're in this alchemical space of transformation, it's extremely, you know, it's like, I don't know what's happening. And so that's part of the process. And to just be in that space of trust and surrender and know that, what is unfolding is for your highest and best good. So I'll say that around that. And then
I love that. And I do feel like I am in my own personal skin shedding at this moment.
yeah.
I've hit a certain age and I'm like, all right, it's time to shed a skin and move into the next dimension of me. And sometimes I do feel that way. So thanks for sharing that, because I'm in an up leveling of my own mindset, my own consciousness, my own emotional tools. Like all my tools are getting up leveled right now because we have to show up differently for the world for this transformation.
Yeah. Okay. And so to answer your other question, around that, so for me, sacred circles are one of the core things that really saved my life on my spiritual journey. And so in that, I see them as these vortexes of power that support us to heal, to alchemize, to transform, to remember. And so, I'm always working with a sacred circle or my own personal shamanic circle of power when I'm working, when I'm creating, when I'm holding ceremony space. And, it's in that sacred circle where so much magic happens. And especially when it's with other people, we're polishing each other into becoming. We're literally stewarding each other's potential and really serving as doulas for each other's souls. And, when we support one another and come together, we are creating these points of healing. And even if I'm just doing my own collage work in my own sacred space, we're creating these healing points like acupuncture needles on Mother Earth that are going out and having ripple waves effects. And, these containers amplify our prayers, our intentions, our potentiality, and they are really the root core of all the work I do. And that's, I feel like, what you're talking about. Like when I set that container, that is really where all the magic can transpire and where we can go to those depths safely. And, it's one of the reasons why through the years, it's like there are a lot of people that hold sacred space and, do gather people, but like, doing this type of advanced sacred circle leader work is completely different. Creating alchemical containers like this is completely different. It's one of the reasons I created our certification in the advanced sacred circle leadership, because there is this very particular way to create these circles, these containers, to be able to go to these depths, to be able to reach those mystical heights and levels, and to really be able to transform in a way that can be very immediate. Like you don't have to go to therapy for 10 years. When you're engaging in this multidimensional quantum healing realm, healing can happen in an instant when the container is set in the right way. And
I just was thinking, I have to share this right now because I just had this exact same thought. I was thinking, from the quantum, I've been studying, that's what I've been studying right now is quantum field, a little bit more going in different direction. But basically it's like what you talked about, those points of healing on the earth. So if we know that if a healing happens, even for one person, we actually could shift the epigenetics of that human being's future and then all her relations. I mean, that to me is just, it's astounding. It's like when you go do plant medicine, that at that moment when you have gone into the depths of your darkness and felt your heaven and your hell and your heaven, you literally have changed your own epigenetics and the future generations. And that is happening in every healing circle. I do them, you do them. Everyone who's in the summit is doing something of that nature. And that makes me so excited and have hope for the future.
Yeah, that's how we're going to co-create the new earth, is the more of us doing this work, the better, and that's such a beautiful part of it. And, it is that we are showing up often to heal our entire lielineage. We are doing that. Our lineage is past, present, future. And, a lot of us that have come in at this time, like we are the shamanesses of our shamans or shamanesses of our families. Like we're here to do that healing work, to alchemize, to really create that transformation so we can step into the new earth. And in so many ways, I feel like, people talk about what the new earth is. It's the fact that we can have heaven on earth here now in the way that we show up and how we live and how we choose to walk as love each day and what we do and the level of integrity and, that we focus on what matters and don't get distracted by life, and that we do the healing work. We say yes to be in our full potential and to offer our medicine to the ecosystem now, because it's needed. And that's how we're all going to thrive. When we are all in our essence, in our shameless sparkle, offering our medicine, I believe that we will be able to thrive in ways that we can only imagine now because of the 3D reality that we see. But when we unhook from that matrix, step into these containers to do this deeper work, like that is when the magic happens. That is when the shift happens. That is how we truly raise the consciousness of humanity. And in a lot of ways, I feel like create the new species. Homo luminous is what Alberto
Doesn't
Villoldo.
Lainie get you so excited? I'm so excited right now. I'm like, it should get you so excited. No, seriously, it's such potential. What you just said was so inspiring. And I want to share a little bit just because I've been working with my own. I mean, I've been doing a lot of healing this year. This has been a very big year for me. The last 2 years, I've been going through my own personal alchemy, and lots of shift has happened to me internally and with my own family of origin. And I actually wrote a song. Like, it's so funny that you said that, because I know you're a singer as well. I've heard your beautiful, amazing voice. And I just recently, one of my lyrics I'll just share with you is, you say we need to heal the line backwards and then forth. I cannot live in fear anymore. You showed me everything. Because my lineage is full of fear. I have a Jewish lineage, and my grandparents, emigrated from Europe during very intense times. We have a lot of redheads in the family from Russian pogroms and all kinds of things that happened to that side of the family. Then we have the more Southern European side, and really intense things in my history and my lineage. And I've been digging in and doing that work for my own self, my own generational healing. So I'm letting go of fear. And as you talk about sparkling shamelessly. Sorry, my brain just, because I feel like that's I love that that's your word, because I am now like posting new things on Instagram. I'm starting to post myself dancing with my poetry. I'm starting to post my songs. I'm going to record my album because I have to break out of my own box. And even though people think, oh, Toni does so many things, she has a dance form, and I still am always growing. So would you speak to your growing edge right now? And then we'll I think it'd be just beautiful to hear, because you are so inspiring. I would love to hear like what you're growing right now, what you're healing right now, if you'd be willing to share that. I know I'm going to go deep.
I'm definitely doing a lot of personal healing right now. So my edge is actually around the direction that our Ecstatic Embodied Leadership Academy is moving in the direction of. And, like one of the core things that my work has been sort of moving towards is this focus on activating the yoni triangle of our creative, spiritual, and sexual power.
All right.
And so the sacred yoni medicine card that you pulled, I actually had pulled that card earlier today as well. There is a really big piece around that, and really helping to awaken us to our wild, erotic, feminine energies, to bring us back into our pure, raw, Shakti life force energies, to be able to utilize and channel those, and to co-create the lives that we're really meant to be here to create. So there's a big piece around stepping into full sexual power, and really
this is so important
to do that. And so that's actually the work we're doing right now in our Sovereign Sisters Rising Mystery School. And it's going to be coming to a close in November, but we're opening up another round of it. And, there's a lot of deep, because we're in this South Node in Scorpio energy right now in the transits astrologically. And it's a lot about releasing old karmic baggage, especially around our power, our sexuality, all the places that we have been shamed and wounded and held back. And what I have really come to know and understand, the 8th house is also the house of orgasms. So when we to be able to sparkle shamelessly, we also must be fully tapped into that orgasmic life force energy as well. And so that is this is a really big piece of the edge that I am on, and what's moving with our ecstatic.
I love this. I'm so happy that that's what you're on at this moment, because I think one of the things the greatest need, right? A very big need, besides other needs, we have a lot of healing going on right now, is the sexual expression on our planet right now. Sexual expression in our countries being repressed in all different ways. I mean, there's just so much going on right now. It's always been repressed for certain cultures, and it's just that has to end. We're in such a mess right now around the sexuality stuff. And I recently heard a statistic that like 1 in 4 women has been through sexual abuse, trauma, childhood trauma, etc. And I've been working on a lot of my sexual shame, actually, is part of this whole process of generational healing, and sexual, trauma, wounding, and all the things that I've been working through, which is why I became a dancer, realizing that my true embodiment was to feel my body and be here and not be disassociated and not exit because of my past wounding. So this is such huge stuff. I resonate with you on so many levels. And I want to just say, I'm so glad you are on this planet doing this work and sparkling shamelessly and being so bold and everything you write and say, and so thoughtful. And I know that, you know, I think I met you back when you were in One Spirit or something like that. I've known you for so long, and you know, seeing you sparkle shamelessly now is I love it. It's inspiring me greatly. And I just want to thank you so much for being with us here on this incredible Stoke Your Creative Fire Summit. So Lainie is going to give you a free gift to enter into her community and heal what you need to heal. What is your Instagram handle? Is it Lainie Love Dalby?
It's just Lainie Love Dalby. Lainie Love DAL.
Great. We're going to put all of this on her page, so you'll see below her free gift. And I just want to, is there anything you'd like to say to people as you close, as if someone, like, let's say someone is just like, wow, I never even considered that kind of level of artistic expression. Like, what would you suggest for them, for their, to like, what would you suggest for someone who's like, almost like, whoa, I feel like I'm too much. I don't know if I could ever do this. Let's just give one last piece of advice.
All right, let's see what wants to come in here.
Yeah,
let me just
so good at channeling.
Tune in for a minute. Tune in. Any last words
for someone who really like would need to say, what would be the invitation for them into creativity, into this process?
The invitation, I would say, is to begin the process of coming home, to coming home to your body, to coming home to the earth, to coming home to your truth and your essence, knowing that our bodies contain all we need to transform the world. The transformational keys are all here. That's why the patriarchy wants to keep us severed from them. And so it's this real idea of just allow yourself to start coming home, start listening to your own truth, start tuning out the outside voices of what you're supposed to do or what things are supposed to look like, or those external forces that want to keep us from returning home, and allow yourself to step by step, just start to return to self, whatever practices you want to use to do that, whatever resonates with you, that you want to do that, because that is how you will truly be able to move forward, totally awake, wildly alive, fully embodied, and to really live into the potential that you are here to live into. And, you know, that was one of the cards I pulled too, ignite your revolutionary potential.
I love that.
Really be uniquely you. I
just pulled this one up.
Transmuting the flames. That's a good one.
This is like my jam, you know, JourneyDance. I'm transmuting the flames, baby.
Yes. So it's really be unapologetically you. And just remember, the world needs more originality, authenticity, and the raw truth of who you are. So sparkle shamelessly in any way that feels aligned. And hope to see you on the journey. It would be an honor to support you in any way that we can.
So grateful. Thank you so much, Lainie. Let's do a big wah for everybody who's watching. Be unapologetically you. Here we go. Wow. See you soon. Wow, Lainie got me I'm so excited right now. I'm all inspired. So she is giving you a free gift, which are these amazing layouts and spreads, how you can use this deck. And this deck really, truly is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. I highly recommend it. I've been using it for since I got it. And there's just so many incredible images in it, like the hummingbird. And I just, my biggest takeaway from today is to remember that really, and to really remind myself as well, that our art is our passion, is our life, is our incredible, birthright. And to not be afraid to sparkle shamelessly and really share your art with the world, share your voice with the world. And we'll be sharing with you more about how you can do that with us as well down the lane, and how you can turn your angst into art and heal through this creativity process. All right, everybody, we'll see you at the next Stoke Your Creative Fire interview. Thank you, Lainie Love Dalby. I'm so charged up. I'm going to run around now. I'm going to have an amazing day. Mwah.